Alright, this next example is pretty much the same thing on either side as far as the complexity goes, so it really doesn't matter which side we start on. But one thing we're going to do with this is we're going to set up difference of squares by using fractions here. So I'm just going to start with the left-hand side, because that's normally what I like to start with. But what I'm going to do for each one of these, I'm going to set up the difference of squares. Notice that this is secant of x minus 1. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by secant of x plus 1 to create an interesting pattern there, a difference of squares pattern. And so my next step is just going to be to multiply the top and the bottom by secant x plus 1. And that will set up the pattern on the bottom of the fraction, because we can now multiply this. That's something that we're going to want to do, is multiply this through. We'll leave the top for now, but we'll multiply the bottom. We'll FOIL that, which if we do, simplifies just to secant of x minus 1 from the difference of squares pattern. The middle terms cancel out when we're FOILing all that. The top we'll leave as the same for right now, for reasons that we'll find out here in just a second. So we've got this, and now what I'd like to do is I'd like to change the denominator. Notice it's secant squared minus x. This is going to be using one of the difference of squares patterns. Excuse me, this is going to be one of the Pythagorean patterns. And this can be replaced by tangent squared. Make sure to check that on your properties sheet. And we're going to have tangent x up here, secant plus 1 staying up there. And then what you might notice is that we can now cancel a tangent on both the top and the bottom. So we can cancel one here, cancel one here. And so therefore get secant x plus 1. Now on some of these problems you might be going through and not really thinking about when to stop, but it's always a good idea to check where we're at. And in this particular case, this is the same thing as the right hand side, and so then it is time to stop. So that's our second to last example.